Game over, man. Game over. Johnny.
You're gonna need a bigger boat.
Why so serious?
Roll out.
I am Iron Man.
This is a tasty burger.
Welcome to the In Session Film Podcast.
All right, hello, and welcome back to Chasing the Gold. I'm Erica Richards, and I am back with my lovely co-host.
Yes, I am Shadan Larkey, always a rant away, and grateful to have somebody to rant about random things.
Tell the people what we were just ranting, or what you were ranting about.
Yes,
that I was agreeing with.
So I live in Houston. So this past week I've been dealing with the fallout from Hurricane Beryl. Didn't have power and internet for a ridiculously long period of time, which is its own rant. Because how do you live in the fourth largest city in the country and have to deal with this all the time? But so last night I'm like finally home, finally ready to be in my creature comforts, and I'm like, let me watch this Nicole Kidman, Zac Efron family affair. And I just am offended to the core of my being that this movie exists, that my beloved Nicole Kidman, I mean, good for you for getting a paycheck, but I'm just bothered.
What's the girl in it? The young girl who was from Kissing Booth?
Is Joey King?
I don't know where this comes from, but I don't like her. I don't know what it is. And I'm like a girl's girl. So like but there's something about her that I just don't like. So I wanted to watch that movie, but I haven't gotten around to it for multiple reasons. But I also, whenever I see her, I'm just like, ugh. Like she gives me, I don't know what it is. She gives me the ick. I don't know. I'm sorry. I feel bad saying that, but like there's something about her that I also think it's because I so strongly dislike those Kissing Booth movies. I think it's that.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know.
Well, and it's interesting because a lot of people on my, like, we always talk about this sort of your like regular life people versus like the Twitter bubble, and everyone in my regular life was like, oh, like I thought it was so charming, so funny, I loved it. So maybe I'm just a troll. Maybe my time without electricity has fried my brain. But that's what has upset me today.
Well, okay, I'm gonna watch it soon, and then we will discuss. I guess on here. I guess we'll have to follow up with the people,
Yes.
but yeah, we'll discuss either offline or online, whatever. So, that will be a whole conversation. So, but today I'm really excited to talk about this one. We're gonna talk about actors and actresses that we think in the next 5 to 10 years are gonna at least get it. Are we talking at least a nomination, or we think they're gonna win for an Oscar?
I did mine based on nomination.
Okay.
Yeah, I wasn't bold enough to predict who might actually come out of nowhere and win. Yeah, this is something that I've been like mulling over, and I'm super fascinated by, and I would love. Hopefully we will be on this podcast in 10 years, but even if we're not, I'm going to text you and I'm going to be like, Erica, we're going to keep score on our list. But no, I'm super fascinated by this. And it's interesting we were talking about, like Joey King, because she obviously had The Act on Hulu that did really well. And so and I think we're in this really weird space in the industry where you can be like a prestige actress that is kind of moving back and forth from TV, moving back and forth from like the Marvel project, the superhero projects, onto like more prestige stuff. I mean, like Robert Downey Jr. literally fresh off Iron Man, like wins his Oscar last year. So I think the idea of like what a prestige quote unquote actor has changed a lot. So that's why I was so interested to do this and see like what names you came up with. Because I don't know, I think it's just we're in an interesting era, and spoiler alert, I think a lot of on both of our lists, a lot of people have come from television.
I was just gonna say that.
Yeah.
That's what I was gonna say. I feel like with streaming and television and all these things, I feel like there's so many popular actors and actresses that I think are going to make the dive into the film industry, and I think they're gonna, because they've already been so established in television, like really make a big splash in the film world, right?
Yeah, and I think, I mean, even like 10, 15 years ago, like if you were a TV person, you were a
Mhm.
TV person, and you didn't really, especially in terms of awards, like maybe you started doing like films, but even like Jennifer Aniston, for example, like people still see her as like a TV person.
Mhm.
But I feel like nowadays it's like easier and easier to make that transition. And even last year, like Sterling K. Brown, was able to kind of get a surprise Oscar nomination. I mean, oh my God, Walter White. Who am I thinking of? Bryan Cranston. Sorry.
Bryan Cranston.
Sorry. The greatest actors that we have working right now that I started on your name. But even he, like fresh off of Breaking Bad, got that nomination for Trumbo. So I think it's like really interesting that it's kind of like that Sally Field thing of like when they like you, they really like you. So I'm just interested to see if this is a trend that's gonna continue of like these kind of prestige TV stars kind of making the jump, and like back in obviously now a lot of movie stars too are like doing TV, but then I feel like if you do TV long enough, do you get stuck? You know what I mean?
Yeah. But I think, like you said, like those people that I think are on the map because of television, I think it'll translate to nominees in the film industry. I do. I think it will.
Well, like so somebody that I had on my long list that I didn't put on my final list was like Ewan McGregor, who I think for a long time people thought was like an Oscar nomination was inevitable. I mean, I always in my brain thought that he was nominated for Moulin Rouge. Like it always surprises me that he wasn't, because I love that performance so much. But he's like only strictly been doing prestige TV very successfully for a number of years now. So I wonder, like with somebody like that, is that just going to be like their realm? Do you think that they would be able to come back to film to that level? It's an interesting question that I ponder at 4:00 in the morning when I can't sleep. Like Ewan McGregor's career trajectory.
Yeah, I mean, really, that's the thing, right? Is like I was thinking about like when we were making our like big lists. I was like, these people, I think everyone on my list is going to win one eventually. But I think it's just a matter of them finding the right roles, right? The right stories and the right roles for them. Like I think they're all potential future winners. I really do.
Well, I think though there's something that happens where when it's like you have a moment in your career when you're hot, and sometimes you are able to come back, but sometimes there was like a long time where somebody like Oscar Isaac seemed like he was poised for Oscar stardom, but I feel like he hasn't been making those kinds of movies. Now that's not to say maybe that might change, but I don't know. There's like a certain subset of actors where I think like have they fallen off completely, or like Tom Hardy, for example, like got the surprise nomination for The Revenant, but he hasn't really been back.
Right.
And like Jake Gyllenhaal, like for some reason has never been able to come back post Brokeback. So like I think sometimes we also take for granted like the Oscar status, or like how long you can stay within the Academy's radar.
Mm-hmm.
So I think we both tried to pick people that are hot right now, but
yeah, I also tried to be like kind of creative with my list too, and like kind of think outside the box, because I think there's a lot of like obvious choices, right?
Which are the ones that I picked. So I'm glad. yours are more out of the box than mine. So
your list was really good. Honestly, your list of these people, I was like, oh my God, how didn't I think of that person? How didn't I think of that person? Right. And we usually like to surprise each other with our lists, I think, but for this one, we did share beforehand, so we won't be surprised.
No,
but,
I'm glad we did share. Yeah, and I tried to think of like, so somebody like Brendan Fraser, like if you would have told me 5 years ago that he would be an Oscar winner, like I would never have, you know what I mean? Or even like Divine Joe Randolph, like what she was able to do in The Holdovers, like not that she was not capable of that, it's just you wouldn't predict that.
He wasn't even on my radar, you know what I mean?
Right. Yeah. So it's like I was trying to think of who is somebody like that. And then you have somebody like Ana de Armas, for example, who I feel like kind of from the beginning of her career was like poised to be the Oscar ingenue.
Yeah.
So it's hard to kind of square those two things, I guess.
Yeah. Okay, well, do you want to start your list? Maybe we'll go one for one. What do you
Yeah,
think?
I'll let you go first.
All right, so I'm gonna go with a couple obvious choices for my first ones. I am still riding high on the bear. I'm talking about it all the time to anyone who will listen. So my first choice is Jeremy Allen White, of course. I just think I've been a fan of his since like the first time I sat down to watch the first episode of Shameless. Um, I just think he keeps getting better and better with everything he's doing. I thought he was amazing in the Iron Claw, right? Like that,
Absolutely, yeah.
that was one that really like he was incredible in that. I'm obviously obsessed with him in the Bear, and I think this whole conversation of what we were talking about with like this popularity thing, right? Does that how far does that take you? But I think when you're in the conversations for multiple things, you're in the conversation, right? So I think if he gets a film where he is in the right role, he can really kind of ride this high that he's on, right? And be a real contender very soon, I think.
I completely agree with you, and I think what's so interesting about him is that he, in my opinion, is like very good looking, and he obviously has like the ability to carry a project, but he also has like character actor energy. So even I could see him just showing up in something as a supporting character and doing really well.
Yeah.
Excellent choice.
Yeah.
Okay, so for my first person, I'm going to cheat because I think that this nomination is going to come this year.
Ooh.
And I'm picking Sebastian Stan. I think that I don't know if The Apprentice is going to be, I don't know, but he also has A Different Man. He won the Best Actor prize at Berlin. Very charming, can work a room. I can see him doing very well on the campaign trail. I also think, I mean, he also, I think, was very close to a nomination for I, Tonya. He was, popped up in the Black Swan many years ago. So he's like on the radar of these prestige directors. So
Yeah.
even if this does not turn out to be the year and I jinxed him just now, I think he's like in the periphery, and he still has like the prestige thing where he's not has not completely been written off as like an action star. And I do think there is something to be said for maybe awards bodies being like, hey, you made us a ton of money and now you're doing this really interesting thing and we're going to award you for it. So yeah, I'm it's going to happen, if not this year, in the next couple years.
I think that's a great pick. I don't think that's like an easy cheat at all because he's one that's like, I don't want to say like forgetful. I don't mean it that way, but like I wasn't even thinking of him. So I think that's a fantastic choice. Like,
Yeah, I mean, even Pam and Tommy, like he was able to completely
yeah. Oh my God,
transform.
he was really good in
Yeah,
that.
so I feel like with the right, I mean, again, if this year and his two bit chances this year don't pan out, he'll be able to find something to kind of surprise people, and he's more chameleonic than people give him credit for.
No, I think that's a great choice. My next choice, I'm still riding high on the bear. So let me just have my bear moment. And this is the last one, I promise. But Ayo Adibri, I'm never sure if I'm saying her last name right. I feel like not confident when I'm saying it. I just truly am obsessed with her. I will have to quote one of my favorite film people on Twitter, Zoe Rose Bryant, that she is the future of the film industry. She tweeted that about her, that like behind the scenes of her doing the voice acting for her role in Inside Out 2. And I just think she is just going to have an incredible, amazing, wonderful, like decorated career. I think she's fantastic. And I just think she has like the world at her feet. And she's so fun to watch. Like I just love, she just is such a good face actor, and like she's just I just think she's wonderful, and I can't wait. Like she's one of those people too. I know this is something we've talked about before that like we're probably going to talk about in the future. Like do you watch their things just because they're in it? She will be one of those people for me. Like anything she does from here on out, I will watch. Like 1000%. So I'm just a huge fan, and I think it's also just because like I want her to win. So like she's on my list because I adore her. So
no. First of all, okay, so when I saw her on your list, it was like, duh, I couldn't believe that I didn't have her on my list. And also she just wrapped up a project with Luca Guadagnino, so yeah, it's a Julia Roberts. It's like Julia Roberts, AO. I don't know who else was in it,
yes,
but
I know what you're talking about.
yeah, so she's like already sort of making that transition to like the indie prestige film scene. So it has such like strong like Oscar starlet ingenue energy. Yes.
Yeah, she's gonna be a name for the rest of time, and I'm so excited.
Yes. Put me on the AO train. I'm working on the train, but like, if you'll be the conductor, and I'll be like the person who like punches the tickets or something.
Perfect.
So speaking of TV people, that prestige TV people that I think are going to transition, I have Jeremy Strong.
Yes,
a lot of people, there's talk about The Apprentice again, whether he may get nominated for that. I mean, supporting actor seems kind of a little bit maybe. Actually, no, I wouldn't say it's weak this year, but that could happen. But even if that's not the project, there's going to be a project. I mean, the man just won a Tony a month ago. Like everyone wants to work with him. I always read like the behind the scenes at parties, whatever, and apparently he's like the number one person that everyone wants to talk to in the room. So I just think he's like super beloved, super respected. He also has like, he does like the method actor thing. So I could just see him completely throwing himself into some weird role and getting that recognition. So yeah, I feel like probably honestly of anyone on this list, he's the one I'm the most confident in. I just feel like Succession is they're just like throwing awards at the entire cast. So
no, I think that's also another really great choice, like pick. Yeah, he's one of those that like he's proving he can do it all, right? Like he's proving that he can do the like you said, he just won a Tony, and he's doing all of the things. And totally on the method acting thing, I agree with you 100%. He's someone that I think is gonna, like you said, a really unique role and totally throw himself like completely into it. And it's gonna be one of those things like we're talking about for years. And I think that's what will get him his Oscar. Like I totally agree.
Yeah,
it's not gonna be some like mainstream thing that we're gonna.
I'm not confident enough to predict a win, but I think like if somebody like Sacha Baron Cohen can get nominated for whatever the trial of Chicago 7, like Jeremy Strong, it'll happen eventually.
Yeah, 100%. 100%. Okay, my next one is Bill Skarsgård. I think he's one of those that like has kind of flown under the radar a little bit. Like I feel like he is popular in a way that like everyone knows that he played Pennywise, like I feel like he's a memorable person, but he just hasn't had something to really put him like that much on the map yet. I'm super excited for Nosferatu. I don't know about you, but I think that yeah. I think that's one that could put him on the map for like potential like conversation at least. And if not that, then just like propel him into something else that will eventually lead him to a nomination very soon.
Why is he the Skarsgård male that you picked and not any of the other ones?
I don't know. I just think I was a big Alexander Skarsgård girly in my True Blood era. Very big on him. But I don't know. There's something about Bill that like I think he's got it in him,
Interesting. I'll make a wager that I think it'll be Alex before Bill, but I think somebody with the last name Skarsgård is doing an Oscar nomination.
No, I don't know. There's something about it. I just feel it in my bones. I feel like something soon is gonna come for him. I don't know.
All right. So the next person that I have on my list, I think that the casting directors from The Crown are absolute geniuses, and I think anyone who showed up on that show is probably, I mean, we already have Olivia Colman, We already have obviously there's people who were nominated before, but like just in the past couple years, we've had Olivia Colman and Vanessa Kirby. So I feel like if the people who have been cast on the show are not stars already, they're going to be in the next few years. I mean, Emma Corrin has absolutely exploded. So on that note, I have Claire Foy, who I don't know if this is a controversial opinion or not, but I think she should at least have 2 Oscar nominations already. One for All of Us Strangers, who she was absolutely astounding in, and one for Women Talking. And you could make a very strong argument that she should have also been nominated for First Man, but I can live without that one. So the fact that there are at least 3 nominated performances that we can name that would have been very strong contenders. And as I said, 2 of those 3 I think should have been nominations for sure. So I just feel like I saw this on Twitter, they were saying she's the new Emily Blunt, where she like gets really close. So I just feel like she's gonna hit. Emily hit eventually, and Claire is gonna hit too.
I think that's a great comparison. Yeah, I would put them on the same, like in the same realm, totally. I just recently watched All of Us Strangers. I watched it on a flight. I missed it like when it was out, and I caught it on a flight, and it was one of those that like it's such a like powerful but like quiet kind of film, if that makes sense. But yeah, absolutely loved her in Women Talking, and oh my god, First Man is one of my like sneaky favorites that like I feel like even though it did get nominations, I don't feel like it got what it deserved, and she's definitely one of the parts of that I feel like deserved a nomination. So I think that's a fantastic choice. See, then you say that, and that's one that I'm like, how did I not think of her? You know what I mean? So I think our lists are good because we cover each other.
I'm stuck on you watching All of Us Strangers on a plane. Like, how did you keep it because that movie destroyed, like, that was another one of those things where I didn't know anything about it. I went into it completely blind, and like, I think it took me, I have to be honest, like several weeks before I could even watch another movie because I was so stuck in that world, and like, just astounding.
Yeah, it was I don't want to say I regret watching it on a plane, but I think because I was on a plane, I was like, okay, just watch this. Do you know what I mean? Like, and I always try to watch things on a plane that like I've never seen before, and things that like, oh, this is available, and like I haven't seen it, and I missed it when it was in the theater, and I don't know if it's like streaming yet, or like I haven't come across it, or you know. So yeah, it did get me. It did get me, of course, but I kept it together. Yeah, she was great in that. She was like a surprise. I didn't even know she was in it. So like when I also kind of went in, even though I heard a lot about it, I kind of went in as blind as possible, and I didn't even know she was in it. So okay, my next choice is Elizabeth Olsen.
Such a good pick.
So, and this is one that like I feel like she was really popular, like really like everywhere for a little while, and then I feel like I mean, I watched Love and Death on HBO. I don't know if you watched that one. And I loved it, and I thought she was fantastic in that. But I feel like I haven't heard her like I don't know what she's in or what she's coming up in, but I just feel like she's one of those people that like with the right role for her in a film, like I feel like she's got to I don't know, she's got to get the right thing for herself, but she has so much star power that I think she's definitely going to get a nomination somehow, some way. Like I don't even know what she has upcoming, but like I just feel like she's made such a name and a presence for herself. It's coming, you know?
Yeah. So there's a movie, His Three Daughters, which was at TIFF last year, which is coming out this year. So it's going to be part of this Oscar season. It has a very stacked, it's Carrie Coon, Natasha Lyonne, and Elizabeth Olsen play the 3 daughters. So I don't know if she is going to be the daughter that's going to stand out among her co-stars. But I do know that they are going to be campaigning that movie. Like they already have had an FYC event for it in New York. So I wouldn't be surprised if at the very least she starts showing up, like in critics groups and stuff like that. So I think she's a great pick. The thing that popped in my head when you were talking about her is, with her, I can't decide if the Marvel of it all like hurt her or benefited her, because I feel like that hit right when she was in that like hot phase of like when she was like the indie darling, and then she started doing all this mainstream. And so I wonder, like, did those commitments keep her from doing the more interesting projects that would have gotten her awards consideration? You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah, I was thinking about that too. And I it's that thing where it's like, how far separated do you have to be sometimes from like you said, the Marvel of it all. But I don't know, there's just something about her that, like, when we started talking about doing this topic, she just like immediately came to mind. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. No, I
So,
can see that. Yeah, that's because I mentioned Sebastian Stan. The Marvel actors in general, I'm just very curious. Like, are they going to be embraced by awards bodies? Like, or how's that going to go? And I'm actually going to cheat and just quickly, he's not on my list, but Andrew Scott. Like, I don't know how he didn't get nominated for All of Us Strangers, but he's my bonus pick for today. So speaking of The Crown, I also have Josh O'Connor.
oh yeah. When I saw him on your list, I was like, duh.
Yeah, like
Duh.
it's not. I mean, and I don't think it's going to be for challengers. Is it La Chimera came out last year and just didn't make a dent, but he has a supporting role in Kate Winslet's new kind of Oscar baity drama that's out. That's not going to be anything, but I just feel like, again, he's like on the periphery enough that's like something is going to hit. Like, it's not going to be something that he has brewing right now, probably, but something is going to hit. And I just find him super interesting to watch, super charming again, because again, unfortunately, like, the Oscar campaign is such a big part of like, getting the nomination, and I could just see him charming people. And I mean, he got the Emmy for The Crown, so like awards bodies do love the man. So yeah, he's another one of those crownies that I have my eye on.
It's funny. I have never watched The Crown, and Tyler and I are always looking for, like, new series to watch together. And especially when we got back from England, he was like, "Should we watch The Crown?" Like, I think he's watched the first couple seasons, so maybe we should watch it.
It's a hard thing for me to just because I love, like, period or royal dramas. I've watched royal dramas from all over the world. That's like my guilty pleasure. So I
Okay.
feel like maybe if you're not as into it as I am, you might not like it as much. But I do think it's very well done, particularly like I would say the first 4 seasons. I think that this, because you know how I don't know, you're aware, they like recast the people every 2 years. So I feel like this last 2 that just finished was the weakest, but definitely like the first 4 I felt like were very strong. And I think Josh O'Connor, because I had not seen him in anything before that, and I just felt like he was so interesting and made King Charles, whatever you want to call him, like such an interesting, compelling character, which he is not. So that alone, I think, is like a huge speaks to his talent.
Yeah, I really was introduced to him in Challengers, and I agree with you. I don't think Challengers is going to be what gets him a nomination, but I did find myself when I was watching Challengers being like, why don't I know who this person, like, why don't I know other stuff that he's in? Like, he's really good, you know? He just has that, like, attention grabbing kind of presence when he's on screen. Like, and maybe that was just like his role in Challengers, but to me it was like I couldn't look away when he was on, because it was like, what is he gonna do next kind of thing. Maybe that was just his character in Challengers, but I could see it, like, I would like to see what else he is in. So yeah, I think that's a great pick. But it was another one that I was like, why didn't I think about that? Especially because Challengers like just happened. Okay, my next pick is Shia LaBeouf.
I need you to tell me like the logic behind this one. I'm fascinated by this.
I feel like he is okay, how do I say this? I feel like he's one of those sneaky, like, we don't think about him, but then you see him in something like did you ever see Peanut Butter Falcon?
No, it's on my list because I'm going through a Dakota Johnson phase, so I need to
Okay.
watch it for her.
It's so good. That was one of those films that I saw. I was like, why isn't this nominated for things? Like, it was so good. And maybe just because I found the story so heartwarming. Um, and he was also in that devastating movie with Vanessa Kirby.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I'm talking about.
Yes, yes.
Oh God. Something of a woman. Something of a. Oh God.
Not Scent of a Woman.
No. Hold on. I have to look it up because it's gonna drive me nuts.
Well, here's the thing. While you're looking that up about
Yeah.
Shida, is like there's obviously very dark allegations and stuff, and so I also wonder about that. Like, do award bodies care about stuff like? Because we've seen like other problematic quote whatever. I mean, I'm just trying to say like, do they care? Is that taken into consideration? Because we've seen examples where it is and it isn't. So I'll be very interested to see where.
I forgot about that. Now I feel like, oh, maybe not, but I don't know. I feel so. It was Pieces of a Woman. That was with Vanessa Kirby. I don't know. I just feel like he has potential. Like, I feel like he's someone that like we don't really take very seriously, but then there's certain things I see him in that I'm like, wow, he is incredible, and he could have like a major comeback. I forgot about those allegations. Now I feel like, oh, why did I think of him? But he did come to mind. It was like, who are people that like, could potentially, because there was that film Honey Boy too that I thought about that I thought maybe when that came out, I thought like, oh, this could be like a contender, for some things. You got to watch the Peanut Butter Falcon. It's so good.
Yeah, like I said, I've become a major Dakota Johnson fangirl. I could do an entire episode about why I think she's super talented, and I think people who dislike her just need to watch more movies.
Yeah, she's great. I love her.
I love her so much. So I do need to get to Peanut Butter Falcon. But no, I
didn't realize this, but Shia LaBeouf is in
Megalopolis.
Yes, thank you. I was like, it's not going to come out right. I didn't know he was in that.
Yeah, that's the thing, is the talent is there, and I think because he's like a child of the industry, people have known him for so long. There's a certain level of support, and people are perhaps endeared to him. They probably shouldn't be, but they are. And so I think like maybe not now, but there could be a comeback narrative again. Whether that's earned or not is a discussion for another day, but it wouldn't surprise me.
Right. Yeah. Who's your next one?
Yeah, so I'm gonna go with and because we had to narrow it down, I also did have Mike Feist on my list. So I'll just say the entire cast of Challenge.
Yes, Zendaya. Oh my God, when I saw her on your list, I was like, Erica, what is wrong with you? How did you not have her on your list?
That is where I'm going next. Like AO, she just has that Oscar starlet energy. Like you could just see her like, all throughout award season in her gorgeous fashion, like win after win, just stacking them up.
God.
She has worked with a really impressive roster of directors so far. I mean, Denis and Luca Guadagnino. So she's like kind of a muse for all these really interesting directors that could whip up, basically write a role for her, hopefully at some point.
Right.
Obviously, like we've seen with Euphoria, like she can handle really dark material. She's like the youngest 2-time Emmy winner in history, so she has hardware, so she can attract more hardware. So yeah,
honestly, I think that's what it was for me. I think I thought she'd already won. Like I knew it was Emmys, but in my head, I'm like, of course she has an Oscar. But I didn't even. It's one of those things. I'm like, oh my God, how did I not think of her? But in my head, like you said, she's got all the hardware already because she's just so incredible.
And we did talk about, in an earlier episode, like I don't think Dune or Challengers, I don't think it's this year. I don't think it's those roles, but it'll be eventually.
Yeah, I agree. I agree. God, she's
But
one that's like,
justice
wow.
for Mike Feist, who should have been nominated for West Side Story, was my favorite performance in that movie. So
Yeah. He's got some kind of look too where he just screams movie star to me. So, yeah, no, I think yeah, shout out to the, even though it's funny, it's like the Challengers crew, but like we don't think they're gonna get nominated for that. But I totally agree with you. Yeah, they all have it coming. They're all there, you know. It's just a matter of time, I think. Zendaya, great pick. Like that is, I'm like, how did I not think of that? My next one is Robert Pattinson. He's another
this is
one.
this is the one where I was like, how did I not like? Because I feel like he's been like
Yeah.
close or like in the conversation for so long.
Right. Yeah, he's one that like I had to look him up and double check. I'm like, wait, he doesn't, right? Like, let me double check this. But I think he's one that like he's just, and I don't know if it's because I was even thinking like, did he get nominated for uh what was the one that just came out with, not just came out, but oh oh my gosh, Shadan, why can I not think when I'm on the fly? What was the movie that he did with oh my god.
The Lighthouse?
No. Well, yes, that and oh god, it came out during the pandemic. Why can't Tenet? Oh my god, Tenet.
Oh, because the reason I was like, is she talking about Tenet? She can't be talking about Tenet because there's no way he was gonna get nominated for that.
No, but I feel like everyone was talking about him so much during that time. I just felt like he was still a part of the conversation. Don't you think?
I think with Robert, it's like one of those things where he has built up a lot of goodwill and he has like so many good performances. Personally, if I have to be honest, like I can't think of a performance thus far that I would have nominated him for, but I think it's like it's built up his credibility where he's like not the Twilight guy anymore.
I thought the Batman would have gotten him maybe.
So like if you were
so good in that.
You would have nominated, you would have voted for him.
I was so blown away by the Batman. I thought it was incredible. I think I would have.
Interesting.
Yeah.
All right. I don't think I was as high. I think he needs a biopic like that. He needs like his own Spencer. Like he needs like a artsy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, I just thought he okay, because I think what it was for me with the Batman was that when he was announced as the Batman, I was like, what the hell? Like how what? Like that's so random. And I think I like went into it like, how is this gonna be? You know what I mean? And I think it was such a surprisingly amazing experience. Like I loved it. Like I think we saw it twice in theaters. I loved it so much. So I just feel like he maybe could have been, I don't know, and I just felt like he was part of, like people were talking about how good he was in Tenet. Maybe I'm like misremembering, but yeah, I just feel like he's someone that's like always kind of talked about still, and like you said, maybe like the Twilight of it all, and maybe he needs to have something that really defines his career more than Twilight. So he's not just always the Twilight guy, but I think it's coming for him too. Like I think something's going to come down the line, and in the next 5 to 10 years, I think he's going to definitely be in the conversation with a nomination.
Yeah,
100%.
I think for Robert Pattinson, it's more of like a time. It just hasn't hit. You know how like for an awards thing, it has to be like the perfect storm, and I feel like he hasn't had his perfect storm yet. I am very interested in Mickey 17, the new like Bong Joon-ho movie.
Yeah.
Lead. It's supposed to come out this year and it's been pushed back. And I feel like people are saying, oh, it's been pushed back because it's not good. And I refuse to believe that. I have a lot of faith in Bong Joon-ho. And so I'm super interested to see like what that is going to be. That's one of my most anticipated movies. I'm really bummed out that it's not coming out this year.
Yeah. Bong Joon-ho is one of my favorite directors. Like I've gone back, and after Parasite, like I got so obsessed with Parasite, I went back and watched a lot of his stuff that he's done already, and everything he does, like he's one of my like, oh yeah, you do the kind of stuff I like. So yeah, I don't even really know what Mickey 17's about, but I saw that he was in it, and he was directing, and I have high expectations. I'm trying to not, you
Mm.
know, like overshoot, but I think it could be really good. So
Yeah, you put Bong Joon-ho's name on anything and I'll show up. I don't
same.
care. I
Yep.
literally do not care what it is.
Same.
So I have to be honest with the next person on my list. I don't know why, but it's not that I'm not even a huge fan of this person. I like them, but they're not my favorite amongst the new Hollywood cohort. I don't know why. I've seen all of their major performances, and there's something about them that doesn't grab me the way that other people do. But they're one of the most talked about young actresses of the moment, and I feel like an Oscar nomination is inevitable. And I know multiple people can argue for multiple performances that should have been nominated already, which is Anya Taylor-Joy.
I knew you were gonna say her.
Yeah.
I knew it.
I've seen The Witch. I've seen The Menu. I've seen Furiosa. She's great in all of those movies. I just don't know why I'm not as endeared to her. I don't know what it is. There's something about her that kind of leaves me cold. But I just think the list of directors that she has worked with is insane, and it's gonna happen eventually. And maybe whatever that role is gonna be, I'll feel strongly about that performance. But again, not to say I don't dislike her. It's just I don't know. It's one of those people.
I totally agree with you what you're saying. I feel like these other people that we've talked about, that it's like, oh, they're so charming, and like, oh, people love them, and we hear all these. I don't feel like I like hear about her like outside of what she does, and I don't mean that in a bad way, and I don't want that to sound judgy, like I'm like putting expectations on a woman of a way she has to be. But I just think like, these other people that we're talking about, I just feel like I see like more interviews with them, or I see more like things on, like, I just don't feel like I see anything about her. And I agree with you. Everything I've seen her in, I've loved her in. Like, I loved The Menu. The Menu was like my favorite movie of, what was that, 2022? Honestly, it was my favorite. Like, whatever year it came out, that was my favorite movie that year. And I thought she was incredible in Furiosa, and yeah, I liked The Witch. Like you said, everything I've seen her in, I thought she's been great, but I just don't feel like maybe that's why she seems cold in a way, just because I don't feel like I even have like ever seen her do an interview.
Yeah. I will say, when she got married recently, and their wedding cake was an actual heart, like looked like a heart, like the anatomical heart, which is like weird and wild. And every time I see Anya Taylor-Joy, I just think of I need to send it to you, like the
Please
picture
send
of
it to me, because I was not tracking this at all.
But yeah, but she's just, again, one of those actresses, kind of like I mentioned, like somebody like Florence Pugh or Ana de Armas, where it's like as soon as they have like their breakthrough, it just seems like they're poised for that Oscar moment. And with her, it just feels like the coronation just hasn't happened yet. But she's like
100%. 100%. Yeah. That was another one when I saw that on your list. I was like, what, how was that not an obvious choice for me, especially because I just saw Furiosa and I thought she was incredible. Yeah, maybe, I don't know, do you think she could get nominated for that this year?
I don't think so. I think like if Charlize Theron didn't get that nomination for Fury Road, I just don't, and especially with the box office not really like exploding, I just feel like that'll probably be a technical, like, sound and visual effects and that kind of stuff. But
I thought
not for acting.
I thought the second one was better.
Oh, I really liked Furiosa. I did.
Yeah.
I enjoyed it. Yeah.
And I had not seen the first one until the second one came out, and it was like, oh, we should probably go see that in theaters. Oh, I'd never seen the first one. Let's watch it. And then, don't get me wrong, I thought it was incredible, but and I don't know, maybe I like the second one more because I did see it in the theater. I don't know. But yeah, I loved it.
No, I'm glad because that's one of my like controversial movie opinions that I am always scared to talk about. I like Fury Road. It didn't blow me away the way that it did for other people. So I did enjoy Furiosa a lot more.
Yeah.
But
Okay, my next pick is I think this is also just because this is one of those like I love this person so much and I want her to get all of her things is Cheryl Lee Ralph from Abbott Elementary. I want her to be in a movie and I want her to get a nomination just because I just love her. And
I mean, yeah, I would love for that to happen. You know what made me so sad when I saw her name on your list is like she would absolutely be worthy of that, and like I would love to see that happen. It's just like those roles, there aren't enough of them.
I know. That's why we need to get her the role that will get her a nomination. And I don't think it's impossible. I think it could happen. I was going back and looking because I was like, what else has she been in? And like she really hasn't been in much. But I just think she's so amazing on screen. I want to see, and it's like I've only seen her on television. I want her on the big screen. I want her in a movie and I want her to get her flowers. And I just think she's so great. And she was one of my like really like stretch, right? Like that was really a stretch, but I was like, I'm going to put her on the list because I also just feel like naturally a lot of the people we're talking about are young people, right? And people that are early in their careers because of their age. And I want her to get it. I think she has the ability.
Yeah. No, I mean, and we always there's always like the veteran supporting nominations that happen. Why can't it be Cheryl Lee Ralph?
She's so great.
Make a movie of my life and she can play my beloved 5th grade teacher who is great.
Yes, it changes your life. And
yes, she really did change my life.
Yeah. We need a version of the Holdovers with her as the teacher.
Yeah, I mean, great. Yes. Listen, this episode is as much analysis as it is manifestation of our dreams.
Yes, we're manifesting it. Yes, 100%.
Yeah, so the next person on my list is somebody who I adore and one of my favorite young actresses and I'll watch them in anything, which is Thomasin McKenzie. Are you familiar with her?
What is she in?
The thing that I think you would have most likely seen of hers is probably Jojo Rabbit. Did you see Jojo Rabbit?
Yes, I did.
She was the teen girl that.
Yes. Oh my gosh, I know who you're talking about. Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, I love this pic, Shadan.
And she was in what is the movie with Anya Taylor-Joy too? Last Night in Soho. Did you see that?
I did. Yes, she was in that. Yes, I loved Last Night in Soho.
Yeah, I was gonna say if you haven't seen it, that's an Erica movie if I've ever seen.
Yes, 100%. I saw that in theaters. 100%.
Me too. Yeah, I really like her. There's just something about her that I find so interesting and compelling, and like the choices she makes. And I think she's able to do a lot with just her face. And to be honest with you, I would have nominated her for Jojo Rabbit over Scarlett. I think Scarlett, like I'm fine with her getting that Marriage Story nomination. I think the Jojo Rabbit supporting actress nomination should have gone to her. I also would have nominated her for a movie called Leave No Trace that came out. I want to say
I've heard of that. I've heard that title, but I've never seen that.
I love this movie, Erica. It is a movie that I think about at least once a week.
What's it about? Give me
so it's about this, which Ben Foster plays the father. He didn't make my final list, but he's also an actor.
I saw him on your list.
Absolutely have an Oscar number. So it's kind of they like live in the like jungles and parks of Washington State, kind of off the beaten path. He's like struggling with PTSD, so it's hard for him to be sort of in the hustle and bustle of it all. And Thomasin McKenzie plays his young daughter, and so she's like a teenager, and she wants to go to school. She wants to do all the things that regular kids do. And it's just like one of the most beautiful movies I've ever seen. I mean, I literally think about, like I said, once a week I think about this movie. Probably as close to a perfect movie as I've ever seen. And I love it so much. I love her. Like I think again she just is able to communicate so much, and apparently she's like a nepo baby because her family is like a thing in New Zealand, but she might be my favorite nepo baby. I don't care.
She
I love
doesn't.
her.
She doesn't scream nepo baby to me, but what do I know?
Yeah, and like also I don't know. Did you see Aileen with Anne Hathaway? It's like the a tiny movie that came out last year.
I was tracking that movie and I thought it was going to have a wider release than it did. I think it came to the indie theater in Baltimore, but I don't think I got there in time. Oh, I didn't get there in time. And I haven't seen it. Did you see it?
Yeah, it's good. I mean, again, I wouldn't be like, oh, you have to watch it as soon as we finish this podcast. But if you're just like looking for a movie to watch and you want to go on a wild ride, you could do worse things than that movie.
Well, I'll definitely add that, but I'll add leave no trace to my list first.
Yeah. So yeah, I'm not as confident about her as I am other people on this list. Like I don't think she's as inevitable as say a Zendaya, but
yeah,
I find she's just great and so compelling.
It seems like she needs more of a leading role. Like she needs to be a lead in something.
Yeah, I don't know if maybe she seems like too young.
Yeah.
Maybe because she also, I guess, like looks younger than her actual age. But yeah, Thomasin McKenzie, and like I said, she has a lot of really interesting titles so far that she's done. So if you want to do what I did with my Dakota Johnson rabbit hole, she's a good rabbit hole to fall into.
Yeah, I love that pick. That's like a sneaky like pick. I think that's a sleeper pick, if you will. I think that's a good one. My last pick. I'm not gonna lie to you. I stole this from your list because I realized that on my final list I had accidentally wrote Elizabeth Olsen twice, and then I was like, oh shoot, I need someone else, and I saw this person on your list. So if you have this one next, I'm really sorry, and we can talk it out. But Jodie Comer, especially because is that next on your list?
Yeah, it is.
She's one that I don't know how she didn't make my list because if you go to my Letterboxd, when I saw the Bike Riders, my review is just a few words and it just says Jodie Comer Oscar nom when ? That is my review for the Bike Riders. She's one that like I've known about her and like I've seen her and stuff and like I've always like enjoyed her, but there was something about her performance of Bike Riders that I just was like, she needs an Oscar, like right now. Like, what are we doing? You know? Why is she okay? Again, I stole her from your list, so you go.
No, and so as I mentioned earlier, it's funny how all these conversations end up leading to the same thing. But as I mentioned, I'm a huge fan of royal dramas, and like a couple years ago, there was, I think hers was The White Princess. I think it was either The White Princess or The White Queen, and I had no idea who she was. And as soon as she popped up on my TV screen, I was like, "Who is that? Why isn't she the biggest star on the entire planet?" And so yeah, I've just kind of kept an eye on her ever since then, and I really thought The Last Duel that came out a couple years ago was going to be her big Oscar moment.
Yep.
Wasn't and I don't know like I know people really like that. I still have not gotten a chance to see it, but I don't know if that's going to be the moment for her, but I just feel like she's another one where it feels like something is going to hit.
Yeah, no, 100%. And I loved her in The Last Duel. I also thought that was going to be a bigger thing than it was. Like it really wasn't. I loved it and I thought it deserved more conversation, but it just wasn't. And then I got introduced to her because I watched a little bit of Killing Eve. Did you ever watch that?
I need to find the right time, but that's like on my list of inevitable things that I'm going to watch very soon.
She just is so good, and I need to go back and like finish watching that. I never finished it. But she just there's something about it in the Bike Riders, and I don't know if it's because she has the like Karen from Goodfellas role in the Bike Riders that just makes it seem like, oh my God, she's carrying this whole film, right? But she just is so good in it, and like literally I was just like, oh my God, she needs an Oscar like right now, you know? Yeah, and she's one that like I just feel like you know, again, we're talking about these people that are younger and kind of, I feel like she's still in the place in her career where she's going to have something that like kind of puts her over that hump, right? That just like
Mhm.
sends her into like full-fledged stardom. She just has that energy, you know?
Can I mention one other person? Because I
Yes,
mentioned
yes,
so there was
yours.
like the white princess and the white queen. I can't remember which one, but there were two like royal dramas on Stars. But Rebecca Ferguson, she was another one of those. She popped up in that royal drama, and I was like, who in the world is that? Like I was like,
Mhm.
where did she come from? Why isn't she in every single thing? And she's another one of those actresses where like if she shows up in anything, I will watch it. I watched all of Silo for her. I don't regret it. It's a great show. But I just
Yeah.
mean like I just love her so much. And like I know a lot of people have her kind of in the conversation for Dune. I don't see that happening.
No.
It's kind of like the bike riders thing too, where I feel like maybe a critics group here and there, but like I don't think it'll follow through to anything major.
Yeah.
But yeah, I love them both, and I need Oscar nominations for both. Please and thank you to the Oscar, the Oscar gods that clearly listen to my wish.
Yeah, they definitely listen to our podcast.
Yes, yes.
I think we made a great list. I think we mentioned some obvious ones, right? Because we have to, but I think we also made some really good points about some other people that
Mhm.
hopefully other people listening to this will be like, oh yeah, they weren't on my radar and now they should be. So
Yes. And
yeah.
I think definitely we should touch base and see how well we do in the coming years and see how many of our picks have translated into Oscar nominations. And then also be really fun to just be like, who are these people that we never would have thought of that ended up being Oscar nominees?
Oh my god, yeah, people are gonna come out of the woodwork or people we've never even heard of yet are
I was
gonna
thinking about that with Austin Butler. Like, if you would have told me that, like, the guy from the Carrie Diaries is like one of the hottest young stars of Hollywood, I'd be like, "What are you talking about?"
right. No, totally, totally. This is really fun. I can't wait to do like we're gonna do another episode about people who have been nominated but haven't won. And I can't wait because I think we're gonna have a lot of interesting talk there. Because there's gonna be a lot of, for me at least, that like, how did they not win for this? You know?
I know.
So
Yeah.
that'll be really fun. What are you excited to watch soon? What are you looking forward to?
To be honest, I was trying to be like, okay, do I go to the movies? Um, maybe. I mean, I'm going to see Deadpool and Wolverine. I don't know how excited I am about that. I have like 2 episodes left of the Bears. That's probably what I'm gonna do as soon as I finish talking to you.
Yes.
Yeah, those are
What
my.
about Twisters? Are you not excited for Twisters?
I mean, I'm gonna go. I will go just for you, so I could talk about it.
Yes. This
Yeah.
household is a big like Tyler has literally been counting it down for, I swear to God, months. We're big Glen Powell fans over here, and Twister is one of those movies that I watched way too young. It was like one of my favorite childhood movies, which tells you a lot about me. Um, yeah, definitely watched it way too young. So we actually just rewatched it like 2 nights ago.
Yeah,
'Cause it's on.
I watched it for the first time like very recently, like probably 2 weeks ago. Yeah.
I feel like it's one. I mean, what did you think of it?
I love disaster movies. I could do a whole episode just on like my favorite disaster movies, and even within the pantheon of like ridiculous disaster movies,
Yeah.
it's really good. Like it's like a solid.
I feel
Um,
like I was wondering if it was one of those films that, like, if you watched it in the 90s when you were growing up in the 90s, does it only resonate with you if you grew up in the 90s and watched it in the 90s? And okay, that's good. It's good to hear that you like enjoyed it at
Yeah,
least.
I mean, because it's interesting, like to circle back to the beginning of our to full circle ending here. Like sometimes you watch a movie that's ridiculous and it's ridiculous, and sometimes you watch a movie that's ridiculous and you're able to like give yourself over to the ridiculousness and have
Yeah.
fun with it. And I feel
Yeah.
like with Twister, like I completely gave myself over to it and just went wherever it wanted to take me. So as long as
Right.
the sequel kind of does the same thing, I'm
The
I'm
couple
there.
I've been trying to stay away from like reviews and reactions of Twisters, but what I have heard is it's very satisfying. So that is good news to me. So
Well, I loved Minari, and the fact that that director was like, my Oscar follow-up is gonna be Twisters is fascinating. So
oh, I didn't even put those two together. I loved Minari. But I didn't even realize that that was him. Oh my god.
yeah. So
Oh
is
my
that
god.
coming out? Is that this weekend?
Yes.
All
It's
right.
this I
No.
think yeah, this Friday. Thursday, Friday. You know, like sometimes they'll do the
Yeah.
early show
All
or
right.
whatever.
Well, I guess I'm going to see
Oh,
Twisters this
that's
weekend.
your weekend plans.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, no, this was really fun. I love this topic. I think it's a really interesting topic. We'd love to hear from people about what they think of our list, but also who did we forget? Tell us who we forgot, who you're passionate about that you want on this list, and we would love to hear from you.
Yes, send us your own list. And see, this is why we love the twisted, crazy Oscar game, is like the people, all those performances where you're like, how did that not get nominated? How is this person not? But thank you for listening. And as always, we just have to say, rate, review, tell your friends, help us get the word out there. And yeah, thank you for another episode of Chasing the Gold, Erica.
Yes, this was so fun. We'll see you next time.